It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the trying assistant women's tennis coach, Coach Olivia Battye. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Brendan. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get started in coaching in college women's tennis?
I think it was just like a continuation. I played in college, and then had the opportunity to be the assistant coach whilst I got my master's there. And I knew I wanted to stay in the tennis world, so it kind of felt like the next logical step for that.
What was that experience like going to college at Sam Houston State and getting to play collegiate tennis?
It was, I mean, it's the most incredible experience. I mean, for me, coming from England, I hadn't really experienced the States before, so it was brand new for me. But playing college over here is huge. I mean, all sports in America seems to be massive, but just being part of like a really tight-knit community on the team and being an athlete in college is just an incredible experience.
For you, during that time as a collegiate athlete, what was that experience like traveling to the US and playing collegiate sports?
It was a big eye opener for sure. I mean, I'm from a relatively small area in England, and moving to the States where everything is massively bigger. It was difficult at first to kind of adjust, but once I was here for a semester or two, I kind of got into the rhythm of life here, and it's college sports is a big commitment. It's a big time commitment. It's a big, you have to manage practices and workouts and then going to school and then with all the traveling on top of that. So it's definitely an adjustment, but it's one that you can do for sure.
As a collegiate athlete, what was that like getting to represent Sam Houston and putting on that tennis uniform?
It was a big honor. I mean, I feel like, if you ask any college athlete in any sport, they, would probably have something similar to say. You get definitely a sense of pride playing for the university, and especially when, people are cheering for you and, you walk on campus and people, if you wear some item of clothing that has like tennis on it, they're like, oh, good luck in the match and stuff like that. So that's also pretty cool, especially, when you're 18 or 19 years old. It's pretty exciting.
During your time as a collegiate athlete, what were some of your biggest accomplishments?
I think so. 2 of the years I was the captain of the team. I think, coming in as a freshman, it's always very difficult at the beginning to, find your place on the team. But working up the lineup was also a big accomplishment. And, just playing on the team for me was a big accomplishment in itself, finding a spot that, getting my roster spot on there. So for me, that was one of the biggest things for sure.
How how was that experience like going from being a player to coaching at your alma mater?
Um, at first it was tricky because the first year I was a coach there, I'd also been on the team with the same girl. So finding that line of like being a coach to a player was at first a little difficult because they were like, "Oh, you want to come out with us, or whatever." I'm like, no, I'm on the coaching side of stuff now. So that part was a little difficult, but once you kind of establish that boundary, then it's, it was pretty easy.
What was that experience like being a coach at your alma mater and getting to experience that?
I mean, it was really exciting. It was, when I graduated, I didn't know if I really wanted to stay teaching or whatever, but then when I got the opportunity to do my master's as well, and I really got into the whole life of being an assistant coach, it's super rewarding. It's being able to see them improve and, reach their goals as athletes, but as students as well. It's really fulfilling for sure.
For you, what was that experience like coaching on the club level of tennis?
Um, it's I think any aspect of coaching, whether it's little kids or athletes, is always very different and you have to adjust. kind of on the spot sometimes. You know, you might be doing one thing and then realize that it's not going the way you'd hoped it to go. So you kind of always have to stay on your toes. But in general, I think call it, teaching any kind of tennis level is exciting for sure.
How was that experience like getting to experience coaching professionals how to play tennis?
Um, it's good when they're um you get to kind of reassess their levels and find different things to work on. Everybody's different when they're playing tennis. Somebody might be good at doing a forehand or a backhand or whatever, and then somebody else may need something a little bit more strategic and on the mental side of tennis. So it's always a challenge, but it's definitely an exciting challenge yeah, absolutely.
What was that experience like for you getting back onto the college level and coming to trying?
Um, it was I definitely that kind of the job kind of opened up kind of when I needed it to, and it's kind of weird. Life works in weird ways sometimes, but I was definitely in a little rut of teaching, and I was looking for something different. So when I had the opportunity to be at Trinity, it was like something that I was, once I applied, I was kind of just like really had all my fingers crossed that I would get the opportunity to do it. And I've realized that college coaching is probably where I want to stay, which is exciting to figure out that's actually what I want to pursue for the rest of my coaching life, I guess.
What was that experience like leaving Sam Houston State and coming to Trinity, trying and getting to experience that outside of your alma mater?
Um, it was, because I left Huntsville, where Sam Houston is, and moved to San Antonio. So that was a big change in itself. And call it any college is exciting to teach, but it was interesting going from, Division 1 to Division 3. But, Trinity's ranked pretty high. We're ranked number 11 right now in the national ranking. So the level of tennis in both places was very high. So from that, there wasn't too many dissimilarities, but and every time you move anywhere new, it's always an adjustment period. So till you get settled.
What does a typical game day look like as a tennis match as the assistant coach?
So we actually had a match we had two matches yesterday. So our first one was at 10. So the players got there around 8:15. We had breakfast. We start warm up at 9 for an hour, and then we start with three lines of doubles, and then we go into six lines of singles right after that.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against?
We play against Shriner, we play Southwestern, we play St. Thomas. A lot of those schools that we play are pretty local, so we don't have too much travel, which is nice. But we do have a couple of away trips. We have one to St. Louis coming up in April, so that'll be exciting.
What is that home game atmosphere like when teams come to your home facility?
It's super exciting, especially like yesterday. The men's team was also playing at the same time, so it's loud, there's cheering, it's just like, and how Trinity's set up is that there's actually a softball field right behind the tennis courts. So there was a softball game going on at the same time. So it's just like, I feel like it's manic, but like when you're on the court, it's like quiet. So it's kind of like a weird thing because, tennis is a pretty quiet sport, but then in between points and stuff, it's like loud and cheering and yeah, it's super exciting.
What does that recruitment process look like? And as an assistant coach, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes?
So, with Division 3, there isn't as many, we don't really offer athletic scholarships. So a lot of the recruiting is, making sure that the school is a right fit academically for the students. So, we'll travel to tournaments and watch them play tennis and then, assess where they're at in looking for what schools they're looking at. Because Trinity is very high academically. So it's definitely a niche of a school for people. It's not, people has to be programs that they want to study at there and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's slightly different than Division 1 recruiting. but it's definitely exciting because, I think recruiting in general is exciting because you get to kind of sell the school, which is also pretty fun.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that Trinity uniform for the first time?
It's really cool. Because I remember the feeling when I got when I, played my first match, and we've had a couple matches already, so the some of the freshmen have been able to play. Um, but they're all excited, they're a little bit nervous, but I think overall it's just such a huge experience for them, playing in college and being away from home for the first time. So I think that is pretty cool. And you kind of feel proud of them for being that way. So it's cool. It's really cool.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those seniors putting on that jersey for the last time representing the college?
I've only been at Trinity for a year, so I mean, I've got to know the girls over the year, but we actually have five seniors graduating this semester. So it's always weird, because you kind of have been, even when I was in college, when the seniors graduated, it was like you're so used to having them around, and then all of a sudden they're not there anymore, and it's like the whole dynamic of the team changes. But it's cool that they've, are about to graduate and go on to starting their lives in the next chapter. So it's sad, but also like a good sad because they're gonna go and excel in their lives.
As a coach, what is it like seeing them going on and going either into professional tennis or coaching?
Um, I mean, it's pretty rewarding for us because I feel like we've done our job, kind of. But, their love for tennis is something that we're trying to keep high with them, and the fact that if they want to go into coaching afterwards, it's rewarding that I feel like I've played a part in maybe making their decision. I know I've had some coaches in the past that I definitely have no, that's definitely not how I want to coach, but there's also been coaches where I've had that I'm like, oh, I really want to, kind of like emulate that style and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool when they decide they want to go into coaching, but I haven't had too many that have done that yet. So yeah.
What have been some of the things you've been able to accomplish so far?
We traveled to Virginia a couple weeks ago, and we beat the number seven ranked team in the country, which was really exciting. And we had some other close matches against some other ranked teams. Um, we're about to go into some more home matches that we have coming up against nationally ranked teams as well. So hopefully we'll have some good success in the next few weeks. But also, just seeing the girls competing every day at practice and working hard and, getting good grades is really rewarding.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've started to help to build for the program?
I think I'm very open-minded. I'm very observant. So I feel like I've, picked up on some of the things that the girls have needed, and they've been able to feel like they can come and talk to me about things that they have issues with or they're enjoying or not enjoying. So I feel like my position as an assistant is kind of like the middleman between them and the head coach. Obviously there's some things they can talk to me about that I don't need to discuss with him, but other things that, I need to bring to his attention. So I feel like I've, incorporated, a lot of trust with them, which is also very big in how I am as a person. So it's cool that they feel that they can, come to me with anything.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
Um, Obviously it'd be nice to get some good wins. Especially with the new recruits coming in the fall, just keep building a good base with the program. At the end of the day, they're more than likely not going to be professional tennis players. So, it's really just making sure that they are building as great people. That's one of my things that I take pride in as a coach is I'm trying to foster an atmosphere where they can be themselves and grow and accomplish things, but also being a good person at the same time, giving back to the community and just being respectful of people around you.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college tennis?
Enjoy every moment. That sounds very cliche. But it is definitely a big uh change for them for sure, but just making sure that you stay on top of things, making sure that your work is done, so that when you get to practice, you can kind of just like be free and not think about anything else and just kind of focus on the tennis aspect.
What advice would you give those college juniors looking to be rising singers and leading the program?
Um, Being good leaders for sure. I mean, you kind of said it in the question. Making sure that they realize that whatever they're doing, they're kind of being watched by the younger players, whether it's on the court or off the court, taking care of their bodies, hydrating, nutrition, that kind of stuff. It's all, whether they think it's, affecting other people or not, it is. And that's something that I noticed too when I was a player is I definitely pay attention to what the seniors were doing because they've been there and done that. So anything you can kind of learn from them is important, especially as a freshman.
What advice would you give those players that have aspirations of playing professional tennis, whether it's on the ATP tour or internationally?
Um, mm, just keep working. It's tennis, becoming a professional in tennis is extremely difficult. It's very expensive and it's pretty lonely. But practice like you would playing a match. Every single thing that you do is important and it's going to help you in the future. So if it is a dream to play professionally, then you need to really give 110% of effort in everything that you do, eating, sleeping, you know, going to the gym, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, just making sure that it's 1,000% what you want to do and not just, do it half-heartedly.
What advice would you give those players that are looking to get started into their coaching career after their playing career?
I would suggest that they get some experience coaching all different levels of players, especially well, also all different ages of players. You need to be able to adapt how you teach. We had a clinic on Saturday with some kids, and you need to be able to talk to them like they're a kid. And then, if you have a session with some older people, you need to be able to talk to them like you would talk to anybody. But being able to assess a situation, realizing if drills are not working, or you have to be able to think on the spot. Sometimes things don't go to plan, but you just have to adjust yourself to that.
What advice would you give those future assistant coaches looking to get started into their coaching career as a tennis coach on the college level?
Um, I would definitely ask questions. I think sometimes people get afraid to ask questions because they think it might be stupid or, not important. But I try and ask the head coach questions about all things that I think of, whether it's recruiting, booking hotels, or, what you look for in players, or, the application process to the university. And take notes of I keep a notebook of things that I can look back on if I need to ask another question I might have already asked that question. um and just kind of you have to just get stuck into it. You have to really put yourself out there and be vocal and just enjoy every moment of it because it's a super cool job.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the college chat?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the program?
We have a website, the Trinity website's on there. I have Instagram, although I'm not 100% sure what my Instagram handle is. I'm not massively into the social media thing, but I do have it. But yeah, my email too is on the website as well.
Thank you again, Coach Olivia, for your interview and best luck in your future as the assistant women's tennis coach at Trying.
Thank you so much.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach, for your interview and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.